exposed.
Yes.
I don't know. This must be episode number 6.
Yeah, something like
7, something like that. We're about 6 or 7 episodes in.
Yeah.
And today we're going to do something really special. But before we do that, we should let everybody know, I feel like, that we're on Spotify. You can listen to us on audio formats, and eventually we'll have some other audio outlets as well, like iTunes and things like that. But right now we're also on YouTube.
I just gotta get off my ass and upload it. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. So if you want to read through the directions real quick, you can. Okay, yeah.
I'll read each. Okay, here we go. This should be fun. For economic globalization is inevitable. It should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. Okay, let me think here. Yeah. Strongly agree. Okay, so the next one is I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong. Wow, that's a crazy question right there. I'd always support. It's always scary when they say always, I'm gonna say disagree on that one.
It's good. You're doing this really well right now. Like, it says in the instructions to really just go with your first thought. Your first answer. Even if you have some sort of disagreements about what the question means and everything. Go with your gut feeling.
It's weird because it depends on what it is, right? I mean, how the support, like, I mean, obviously there's gonna be things that we're not gonna. No country's perfect, so I don't know. Anyways, and the other thing that's weird too is they say support. How when they say support, yeah, I pay taxes, but I'm not in the military, and it's like people say that all the time. I support the troops. Really? Have you sent any money to them? Do you send them a care package? How do you support them? It's bullshit. People don't support the troops. They just say that. You know what I mean? Some do, and some care, but a lot of times, when it comes down to it, it's like, when it comes to bills as far as like healthcare, you see people all the time, oh, whatever. It's like I don't know. And they come back wounded, they get hurt, and it's like we almost like forget about them, But it shouldn't be that way. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm going on a rampage here. I was talking about other bullshit stuff. Okay, next question. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. That's interesting. Wow. That's kind of a cool question. I like that. No one chooses their country of birth. Well, I wouldn't say it's foolish to be proud of it. That doesn't make any sense. Not foolish. It's kind of more human nature to be proud of what you've grown up with.
Yeah. So do you agree, strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree?
I'd say I disagree. But there's some merit to it too, right? No one chooses their country. That's true. But it's foolish to be proud of it. I'm just gonna say disagree. Okay.
I think I said agree. That's interesting.
Really? No.
Yeah.
No one might. Now you got me confused. Now did I answer the?
But
wrong?
I didn't say strongly agree. So we're pretty close to each other. I mean. Okay. Yeah. Not that we need to be. Just it's interesting. Yeah.
I want to pick the same ones you did.
Yeah. I mean, you might end up. It shows you at the beginning of this test too, like where Adolf Hitler lies on the scale. So it's like you kind of, you might be aiming towards there. And I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's go to the next question. That's a weird question. I don't know what to think about that one.
Tricky. It's kind of tricky.
I want to say NA, not applicable. I don't. Okay. Let's see. I can't do that though. Okay, our race, which race? I love that. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Okay, I'm going to strongly disagree with that one. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Our race. I'm gonna just point something out people don't realize, okay? This is okay. You tell me if I'm wrong about this, but I kind of believe this, all right? So in a weird way, we're all actually Ethiopian. Now, I know we don't look Ethiopian. You think, well, it's so, race has to do with your melatonin and what you look like. But we know based on science that our bones came from Ethiopia, because at one time all the continents were together. They eventually drifted apart. So our origins are in Ethiopia. That's where we started.
Yeah, you can go back even further than that. I mean,
No, but I'm saying literally,
evolutionarily, yeah.
Now the other thing is, as far as genetics go, they've done the genome project where they trace the different genetics, and basically, the people in Ethiopia have a complete genetic. It's like they can trace it all there. So like everyone is connected in some way to Ethiopia. And in a way, it's kind of immaterial because obviously too many years have gone by, different cultures, different language. So it doesn't mean anything. But the point is to say that actually we all came from the same spot. We just happened to have drifted apart. But I kind of see all of us as being like part of the same thing, in a sense. But
so that's why you automatically
different.
You say disagree. You say strongly disagree, actually.
Yeah, that's why I said strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree, yeah.
Okay, so next question. Here we go. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Okay, so no, I disagree with that because now, oh shit. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. Okay, I'm gonna agree to that one.
Oh, you're gonna say agree, yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of see the point of it. It's sort of saying that we need to have alliances with other nations.
That's how I interpret it. Yeah.
Someone has an enemy. Yeah.
Not necessarily nations, but yeah.
But at the same time, it's a little goofy too. I don't like that question.
Right. I want to say disagree too, but I also kind of agree.
Yeah,
you could agree. Yeah.
I want to agree and disagree, right?
Right. Yeah.
So let me give you an example. Like, you cannot like a country for some reason or whatever that may be, but then the other country that you're supposedly supporting. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Like, we support Saudi Arabia, right? And we always complain. We always make the thing of saying, we're defending freedom, and in these countries where they do all of these, kind of, I don't know, like they kind of mean to their people and stuff. But then we support Saudi Arabia. They don't even let women drive. It's like, so it comes down to money, right? It's just like, oh, they give us weapons or whatever. We give them weapons, or we scratch their back and they scratch our back. So yeah, I think it doesn't even matter. I think they're just like, whatever side that helps the US get where they want to be, that's the one they're gonna go with, So I know it's kind of political, but do you agree with what I'm saying, or no, not really?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're taking it into a bigger realm, but it's the question, and I think you answered it fine. It's really asking you,
yeah,
the enemy of your enemy.
I know.
Would you consider that your friend?
Yeah.
Kind of more, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Sorry about that. Okay.
No, that's really fun.
Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Okay. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. I'm going to say I disagree with that. I disagree. And I'll explain why. I think international laws are important. I think what happens is, like, for instance, like, when we torture people, that's against international law. So when we break that, what ends up happening is then when someone captures our troops, then they say, "Oh, you broke that law. Well, screw you. We're gonna do whatever we want." So I think it's best to try to stick with the international law. But there's times, of course, when like you might have to make some decisions that are beyond. So this is another tough question. It's like, yeah, I think there's times when you might have to go outside the realm. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, it's assuming you're kind of assuming that international law is a good thing. Maybe some international laws need to be changed.
yeah, and some may need
Yeah,
to be changed.
you might not agree with all international laws.
Yeah, but I think it's important to see that. I think most time you should follow what the international law is. You know,
Yeah,
we're it's kind of like this. We're all in this together. So what I mean by that is that if there's ever a nuclear attack or anything, something happens, and we all need to work together on something. I mean, shouldn't we be able to? Shouldn't there's times when we're going to need work with other countries to be able to solve problems, and if we can't work, if they don't trust us, that's gonna hurt us, I think, in the long run. So that's why I put the word disagree. Okay,
but
probably
you didn't say strongly disagree. Yeah,
I just put disagree, and
me too.
I put disagree because I'm gonna fudge a little bit. I think there's probably times when we are gonna just we're gonna do whatever we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I said the same thing. I gave
Oh,
the same answer. Yeah.
wow. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Now here we go. Next question. There's now a whirring fusion of information and entertainment. A whirring fusion. What in the F does that mean?
A worrying fusion of.
No. What? There's no whirring. I'm going to strongly disagree with that. I don't even know what the hell that means. Whirring.
Can you read the question one more time?
There is now a whirring fusion of information and entertainment. It's not a warring fusion. It just is. It's just different information and different entertainment. I don't know what they're trying to say there. Do you know what they're saying there?
Worrying fusion
Of information and entertainment.
of information and entertainment. Well, we talked about this in one of our earlier podcasts. I kind of brought up the point that, in my opinion, most of the news sources that we call news are fake news. They're kind of based on something that's sort of real, but they exaggerate certain points for purposes of entertainment or for to get people to click, get people to watch.
Yeah.
That's how I interpret it.
Is that a whirring fusion though?
In my opinion, it is. But you already answered it. You said disagree, which is fine.
Okay. Yeah. I just don't think it's. I don't know. I guess. Okay, I'll go to the next one. I'm not sure on that one. Maybe I screwed that one up, but
no, you didn't screw. No, you don't screw it up.
I just think what I would say is, I would say that with that question, you just take out the word whirring fusion, and then I agree with it. There's information and entertainment, lots of information, lots of disinformation, and some good information, and lots of stupid entertainment, and that's the answer, right? But whirring fusion, that's like, whoa, it's like it's the end of the world because there's some crazy information. No, I don't.
Yeah, it's interesting. It can also be like how we interpret the question too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it depends on how you went. Okay, let's go to the next page. Bam! What do you got here? All right, here. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. Yeah, I strongly agree with that. People ultimately divided more by class. Then, oh man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna hit agree actually on that.
At first, you said strongly agree.
Yeah, I was. I'm gonna change it to just agree because that's not totally true. It's some things are divided by nationality, of course, but class makes a huge difference. Huge difference, So, anyways, that's what I think. Next one. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. No. God, no. What the fuck? All right. Strongly disagree with that bullshit right there. Controlling inflation. First of all, inflation, yeah, inflation can be bad, but it comes down to how much money you have. So the more you can make at your job, it can make up for the inflation. You know what I mean? So if I make more money, then I can deal with prices that are a little higher. Let me give you an example. If my if I want to buy a burger, and for 10 extra cents, if I have to pay an extra 10 cents, and that means workers can get a fair living, I'll pay the extra 10 cents. And guess what? Here's the weird part. When you raise the minimum wage, right, and you raise it up, and then if you have to increase the prices at 10 extra cents, because people have more money, guess what they do with that money? They go spend it. And where do they buy? They buy, if you have a business or you have,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It supports everybody. You know what I mean? So I'm for raising the minimum
Yeah.
wage. Sorry, did I
No,
make?
you've already answered. So what's your answer? It's you strongly disagree.
Yeah, strongly disagree.
Now,
Controlling inflation is,
but somebody can be employed, but if inflation is not managed, then their employment may not matter anymore because they might not have enough money, even though they're employed, to afford basic needs because of inflation.
I totally understand what you're saying, but
Yeah.
the problem is this, is that, okay, so let me ask you this. Let's say you have a choice between a job or no job. Which one hurts you more? Rising prices that go up 10% or you have no job?
Okay, now, but you're putting a limit on it. You're saying it only goes up 10% because you're controlling inflation. You said
And
10%.
even if it doubles, let's say that prices, I mean, that's insane. No one's not going to double, right? But
Well,
what
why do you no? Because you put controls on it, it wouldn't double.
no, I'm just based on past history. Things don't double immediately. They take a while to go up.
Well,
They
maybe
can
not
go up a lot.
immediately.
One of my point is we're just talking historically. So, you know, there's lots of reasons why things go up in price, but if you don't have a job, it's immaterial. It doesn't matter because once you're not working, you can't afford anything, right? I mean, at least if you have a job, you can pick and choose, okay, well, I'm not going to buy this today because I can't afford it. All right, I mean, it sucks. I'm not saying that you can't care about inflation, but you have to have employment, you know? So I care more about the unemployment than I do inflation. I mean, inflation you have to control as well. So it's,
Oh, okay,
but
okay,
it's
and
it's
that's kind of
just
where
that,
I fall. To me, inflation sounds a little more important.
okay, I'm going to prove that what you're saying is bullshit, okay? So imagine you're in a situation where you don't have hardly any savings, okay? And let's say someone was like a magic genie and they said, "You have a choice. We can control inflation so that prices will never go up ever again. Or you could stay permanently unemployed and not work ever again. No money, bitch. No fucking money. Which one are you going to choose?" To me, it's obvious. You have to have a job to survive. So you can't tell me that your real importance is inflation. It's not, because you need money to survive. You have
But
to have a job before you can even worry about
if
inflation.
inflation isn't managed in some way, it could potentially make that money worthless. Therefore, your employment becomes worthless.
But understand too that if people, once prices go up too high, there's a natural, even flow where people can't buy things, then prices will eventually have to come down to meet the demand, right? So if I stop buying, potatoes because the prices are too high, they'll have to drop the prices. That's kind of how it works, right? So prices only go up so high, and then eventually they have to stabilize a little bit. That's what I'm saying. But if you have no job,
Okay,
forget, it doesn't matter whether it goes up or down. You can't
so
afford
you're
to buy the
saying
damn potato in the first place.
inflation doesn't need to be managed because it manages itself.
Yeah, in a
Okay,
way it will. It will
okay.
kind of. That's natural market conditions. Somewhat manage the inflation. So I'm done with that question. I think I answered that shit hella good. That's just me.
Hella good. Hella good.
Hella good. What the fuck? All right, next question. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. Yeah, strongly agree with that question. Yeah, we talked about this. In the last one of the last podcasts, I said a very important statement. And we're going to get back to this some point. I said everyone's selfish, and that includes corporations. Corporations are just made up of selfish people, right? They just, and it's not, when I say selfish, it's not I'm not saying that they're bad, right? I'm not saying they're doing something wrong. What I'm saying is that it's natural for corporations to make profit, help their shareholders, give them as much money as possible. So why would they want to care about the environment? They don't give a shit about the environment. So the only thing that stops a corporation from completely destroying what we have left is regulations. It's the only reason why they do anything or not do something. And even with regulations, it doesn't do that much, because they just kind of go, well, I just pay the fee, you know, I'll pay the fine, and then it just, you know. But I mean, when the regulations are strong enough, then, you know, you can get them to do certain things. But
could you have a situation where the regulations are too strong, where it hampers, you know, production or innovation?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll give you one example. You know, me and Mark talked about this, but it's like, when it comes to filming the filming industry, let's face it, man, Washington has been hit. Not just Washington, but probably Oregon too. I mean, we used to have films shot there, and they changed it so it was like too many, you know, taxes and regulations. And, you know, I think they were trying to get too much of the money. I don't know what it was, but now all the films are shot in British Columbia. You know, it'll say, oh, you know, they'll show like the outside of Portland. Oh, it's in Portland, you know, but then it's not. It's like, it's British Columbia, you know, or
It's a
even
different
LA.
country. Yeah.
It's nuts. But it's I hate that, you know. I don't want that, you know. I want regulations to be a little bit, you know, a little bit relaxed slightly, because I want more filming in those places. Do you agree with that?
I think that's a good example of why I said agree, and as opposed to you're strongly agree, and I chose agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but corporations will never do the right thing when it comes to the environment. They just don't, and they shouldn't. Why would we expect them to think that way? Because their job is to make money, so they don't have to. Now, let me just point out, there are, of course, some corporations that are going to be more environmentally friendly, you know. But you got to have some regulation, otherwise they're just going to do whatever they want, you know. So let's move on to the next question. Let's see here. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need, is a fundamentally good idea. Let's say disagree with that one. Oh, what? Can you help me with that one? Can you explain that one? Because I honestly, it's confusing as hell to me. I don't get it.
It is confusing to me too. I think that I can't.
What are they trying to say?
I don't think I can really explain it either. But really? I think it has an easy explanation. I think it's just it sounds a little off, right? It sounds a little.
Okay, let's break it down. All right, let's break it down. So they're saying, okay, so each person has an ability, and according to the need, so that they have the need of something, we don't know what is a fundamentally good idea. It's too individualistic. It's just like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that question.
It's to me, it sounds like, well, what's your answer before I influence?
I hit disagree, because I don't know what
disagree. Okay.
If I don't get what they're saying, I'm just going to say I disagree with it, because
it sounds kind of like each person should fend for themselves.
Oh, okay.
In a society.
No. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I guess too. Like, I mean,
I don't know. It's like,
yeah. I think I would say, I said disagree as well.
It just seems like a dumb question.
But I do sort of agree with the concept of like individualism. Like, you should be able to. There's a lot of empowerment there too, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you have an ability to create something and make a living, then you will reap the benefits of that, or you can reap the benefits of that.
Yeah, I guess I see their point.
Instead of like communism, where it's sort of like, you're working for other people. I put in hours worth of work, and then that money that I earn gets spread out amongst other people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a yeah, I don't know. I disagree, I guess. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The freer the market, the freer the people. Um I'm gonna hit the disagree on this one.
Wow.
Now, I'm gonna explain why I disagree with that. Okay. So I didn't put strongly disagree because I think that there's some merits to what they're saying. The freer the market, the freer the people. Kind of what they're saying though is, oh, if you just have a totally free market, then everyone's free, everybody can do it. So it naturally makes you think, oh, because it's like the two words are closely in there, but they're forgetting an important thing. And I brought this up last time, which is markets need some regulation in order to keep them free, right? So it's like I gave you the example with the stock market that laws have come up where we've had to make it so, because otherwise people just take advantage. They just they just do things that are that's just the way people are. They're not nice. They're just gonna go through there and do whatever they want. So, but of course, it's obvious that if you control the markets too much, if then yeah. So the key here is that you want to try to make them free, of course, but with some regulation. You can't just be full on.
So you're looking for that balance.
It's got to be balanced. So that's why I hit the disagree on that, because it's tricky because you have to really think about it. But that's my opinion on that.
To me, it strikes me like you really do want a very free market, because then it allows the people to choose where they spend their money, basically where they take their business to, and then you get competition and things like that, and that's better for the people, and the people can be free to create and provide services or whatever.
So let me just give you an example. Let's just take the food industry, right? Imagine if people could, there was no regulations on, I don't know, let's say milk or dairy, right? And they could put whatever they want in there. People start getting sick, right? They drink some bad milk. Hey, fuck you. You know what? It's my product. It's my business. Too bad you picked the wrong milk. You know what I mean? Suck it, buddy. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Now check this out. Interestingly enough, I'm stuttering. By putting in that regulation of saying no, you actually have to make sure that the milk is somewhat healthy and everything. Now, when I go to the store, I'm not scared about drinking some milk, right? Maybe milk is bad for you, but at least I don't die right away. So I feel more free. I now am free to buy that milk. But if it was unregulated, then I'm in trouble, right? Because I don't know whether I'm going to die tomorrow. Do you see my point?
Yeah, but how would it be a good business practice to create milk that's poisonous, or that's makes people sick? People would stop buying that pretty quickly.
Yeah,
on their own,
I do kind of see your point, but
without regulation.
But here's the problem with that.
I'm not saying we shouldn't have regulation on that
like,
kind of thing.
Like sometimes what happens is there's not many. Well, milk is a bad example, but there's some cases when there's not that much competition. I'll give you an example, like I guess with computers, like there's only certain ones that they're available, or I don't know. There's like when it's more of a monopoly, there's not as many competitors. I mean, we can see this example with TV, like the where you get like the Comcast or this or that, and you start to see, the prices get a little bit high, and they start to do things that are kind of harsh, and then it's like, no, there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? So at some point they're going to try to take advantage of people, and they know there's nothing we can do about it. And I don't like that. So
Yeah.
there's got to be a little bit of fairness. And I gave a bad example, but that's all I'm saying,
Fairness is I think that's a good word.
Yeah, it just needs to be somewhat fair. So, but
So you're kind of saying a less free market
giving up some
creates a freer people.
Yeah, having some restrictions is the better way to go. And I swear,
who decides those restrictions?
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. You're right. It's true.
Yeah,
but basically, it's decided by kind of majority rule, right? Somewhat, based on Congress and president and how voting is, and
who are obviously not influenced by those corporations,
right? And though they are influenced, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, when you start looking into stuff, you realize everything's kind of corrupt to a degree, right? So
yeah. So if the people were able to choose on their own, right? There's milk that makes people sick, so the people stop buying it. The people kind of control the market in that sense, right?
Yeah,
I mean that's hypothetically.
I do see your point. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, let's see. What's the next one? Okay. It's a sad reflection. It's very sad. Sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product.
Sad reflection on our society.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree with that one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. There's some truth in that, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone should be able to have basic water branded, but I mean, we brand anything, right? So I'm gonna give it to the capitalists on this one. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say, hey, I don't like it, but I don't want to stop that. People want to sell.
With that.
Oh, good.
I mean,
I understand water. Like, yeah, it's just one of those things. Water is become important. I mean,
we're answering that question differently. You're saying disagree. I agree with it.
Oh, what did I say? I messed up.
No, you didn't mess up.
Oh, is this right? Yeah, drinking water. I mean, I understand why they brand it. Yeah, because look at it this way.
Well, okay.
Tap water. Oh no, go ahead. I interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to point out that I say I agree with that question. I do think it is a sad reflection on our society.
That's true. It is.
And you disagree with it, which is fine. But it's interesting because I agree with you that I don't think it's a sad reflection that capitalists are saying, hey, let's brand this water. It's free. Let's sell it. We'll sell it for $2 a bottle. I think that's fine.
Let's put it this way.
Reflection. The sad reflection.
It's somewhat sad.
Society. Right. That's why
it's somewhat sad. So maybe that I see your point.
The sad reflection for me is that society decides to purchase the bottled water. That they're gullible enough to say, "Oh, I'm going to spend money on a bottle of water." To me, that's how I agree with that.
Okay, let's just point something out. All right, let's talk about water for a second. If you drink regular tap water, you've been drinking that all your life, and you think that's real water, that's some of the crappiest water there is. You know what I mean?
That's what's in the bottles.
It tastes horrible, right? But some of the stuff in the bottled water, I mean, it's there's some that are actually. Although sometimes you can actually taste the kind of plastic you taste. Sometimes that water isn't good either. But I mean, it depends on the brand. I mean, you can get water that's from Mountain Springs. I'm kind of a sucker for that advertising. Oh, mountain comes from a mountain. It must be good,
And that's how I see that. So that's a sad
I'm a sucker. I can't help it. I'm like, oh, that sounds. Right. Oh, it's from France. All right, I'll buy that. So I'm gonna say I'm just a dumbass. Like I'm a sucker for advertising. Oh, it's good. Okay, it says so. They said it. I'll believe it.
It has there's a mountain. There's a mountain on the bottle. Yeah, if I see
a mountain, I think it's good. So I'm gonna go with it. All right, let's see here. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. Wow, interesting. I'm going to disagree with this one.
Wow.
But I'm going to say something weird, okay? So, the only reason why I hit the disagree on whether land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. I think that there was a time in history when there were cultures that viewed land that way, that you couldn't buy it, you couldn't sell it,
Yeah.
And I like that idea.
Yeah.
But the problem is we've gone too far. We've reached the point when that just is just a pipe dream, It's just
Yeah.
no longer in the reality of what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's sad to me that is the case.
Yeah.
But it's still it wouldn't make any sense because let's just say that it couldn't be bought and sold. Well, how would what if I want to expand my acreage to here, or how do we determine how much land I get? Who determines that? Right? Is it all open? I mean, can I go over to your land and hang out with you? Like, right? It gets into some really crazy stuff. So I mean, I like the idea of it. It sounds really, actually, here's the thing too. When populations were really small, it really made sense, that idea. But when populations get larger and things become more scarce,
Yeah.
I'm afraid that it doesn't work. How did you answer that one?
I answered agree. So you said disagree, and I said agree because basically everything you said I agree with, and that's why I said agree because yeah, it is a pipe dream, but I kind of like that idea that it's the land. Land is a resource, but it should be available for everybody. So as soon as somebody buys a plot of land and says this is my land, then other people aren't able to, enjoy it or farm on it or, drive around on it or whatever. They're not able to utilize it. Yeah.
I'll tell you something crazy right now.
Yeah.
Based on the way I answered that question, that makes me more of a capitalist than you.
Yep, I know. It does.
That is crazy.
It is, huh?
Because I've always thought of myself as being, a little more of a commie. You know what I mean? A little bit more like free love and hey, whatever, anything goes. But
I kind of chose the hippie answer there.
You chose the super hippie dippy answer.
You acknowledged the hippie answer, and you like that.
I did like it.
Yeah,
but I'm a realist. That's
right. You're real. Yep.
I'm a realist. Yeah.
Yep.
Not a dreamer. But I could totally. Yeah, man, that's tough. That's tough. All right, let's move on to the next one. Hey, I hope other people, please, if you think what I'm saying is nuts, I want to know, man. I want to know what you think. Because seriously, it's I need to be educated. All right, let's go to the next one here. Okay, it is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. I'm going to say strongly agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's regrettable that some personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society.
You say strongly agree. I said agree. So now on this one, I'm more of a capitalist than you.
A little bit. We agree, strongly. It's
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I would probably pick maybe agree more than strongly agree. I'm gonna change my answer to.
No, I don't think you can change your answer. You got to go with your first. You can change it, but you're supposed to go with your gut.
Here's why. Here's why I have to be honest and change it to agree. Because if you're talking about me personally, if you said to me, "Hey, I have a system where you can buy NFTs," but we got to do a podcast on NFTs because I want to learn how to do NFTs. But
non-fungible tokens. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the cool shit, man. I've been trying to learn about that. It's so cool. But I mean, if we could do that, we're just manipulating money back and forth and buying currency, or and just we're not really doing anything for society. It's just digital crap, But if I can make a bunch of money doing that, I don't feel bad about that at all. So it's you notice how that on some of these questions, if you apply it to yourself is one thing. Then when you apply it to others, you think it's different. But really you should apply it to yourself. Would I do that? Yeah, I would, you know. So I'm a bit of a capitalist, you know what I mean? So there we go. Anything you want to add to that?
No, that was good.
Okay. Okay. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. Protectionism. Yeah, I guess I agree with that. I don't understand that question 100%. Can you explain that to me?
Well, I don't either. I mean, I don't know what protectionism is. It sounds like it would be useful in trade, though. Like it sounds like
Yeah.
So I said agree, but
yeah, it's I don't fully understand that question.
And this is great because this is we're the filthy truth exposed.
Yeah, exactly.
But we don't know everything.
Sometimes we don't. Yeah, it's like
we don't know.
I should have looked it up. You know, I can act like I know. You know, sometimes these guys on podcasts and stuff, they come out. Oh, I know exactly what that is. You know.
Yeah.
You know, so it's. I want to point something out, like kind of a weird dynamic too. People don't realize this about me. This is just me, not you, but I feel like there's this kind of odd relationship between the viewer and the person like me giving the information out. And what it is it's like I have the knowledge and you're the stupid one and you're listening to me because I have the answers. I got news for you. I don't know shit. All I have is an opinion. And you can either take my opinion and you can agree or disagree, but I'm definitely no leader, no answers to anything. I just have ideas and that's as far as it goes, man. You know what I mean? I don't want anyone to follow what I'm doing because I don't know what I'm doing, you know? And I admit that freely, you know? I'm searching for truth. I don't know the fucking truth.
Right.
I'm searching for it, right?
It's okay to be wrong. It's okay.
Yeah, we're on a path together. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
We're all on a path. Some of you guys are ahead of me and maybe some of you are behind me, but it doesn't matter. We're all in it together. You know what I mean?
And what's cool is we have no idea what this question really means, but we're both still like agree.
We're just like, I disagree.
Yeah. I agree. No, we agreed. I think we both agreed on it. I think.
Great. That's good, man. I like
because it sounds like something we would agree with.
Yeah. Sounds
or that I would agree with. It sounds like something you would agree with. Yeah.
Sounds like
but we don't know what it means.
Doesn't it sound like a mafia thing? Hey, you need protection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be.
You gotta pay some money in order to get that protection.
It could be something really horrible that we disagreed with.
Right, it's true. Suddenly we're now Nazis, you know? Yeah. Okay, so we'll go to the next one here. The social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. I swear I said that earlier today.
Yeah.
The only social responsibility of the company should be to deliver a profit. Yes. I'm going to say I strongly... Well, I'm going to say agree. Here's why I say agree and not strongly agree. I really wish companies had a higher, moral standard than just profit. It's something I would like. I just know the reality is that's the way it is. They just want to make money, you know?
Yeah, and in a capitalist society, the profit actually drives companies to innovate and to provide something for people. So it's
right.
The profit motive is a good thing.
I agree with you.
At least that's how I understand.
I 100% agree. But that's the positive. But I'm going to give you a little bit of the negative. The negative of that, the negative of that too, is that they're going to cut corners.
Yep.
They're going to reduce the quality or the quantity in order to make more profit. Mm-hmm. And so, as the consumer, we're always kind of stuck. Whatever it is they want,
potentially being scammed as the customer.
Yeah, we get scammed. So, and the thing is, we haven't learned as a society that we actually have more power than people realize, but we don't use that power. We started boycotting stuff. We started saying, I'm not going to buy that.
What we do is we buy the bottled water with the mountain on it.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. Man, this is a whole other thing, right? I'm a sucker for packaging. All right, I know I'm going off topic here, but look,
Oh, okay.
when I see a packaging, for instance, if I'm buying coffee and it's some generic crap, like it could be the best coffee in the world, but if the packaging it looks like it's generic, I'm like, I don't want it. You know what I mean? But here's where sometimes I don't follow that. If I read the reviews on Amazon and it's really good, like I'll buy it. I don't care what the packaging is. You know what I mean? So I don't know what that makes me, but anyways, doesn't matter. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one here. Why I go off topic, I don't know.
They should just put 4 stars on every package then, right? Like
Yeah.
rated 4 stars.
Exactly. The other weird thing I've noticed too is on Amazon there'll be like, it's really tricky because it'll say you get a company gets or a certain product 4.7 rating, right? Pretty good rating. But if you go look closely, you might find that there's a bunch of different unrelated products in that section. So it could be watered down, right? It's like it's not. I hate that. It shouldn't be variations. It should be only that specific one because that could lead to a lot of problems. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying?
Like coffee filters. It's like paper filters and there's metal filters. There's like
Yeah. And you
yeah.
said, "Oh, this is a good filter," but it ignored the fact that maybe a bunch of them, maybe like a bunch of their products are really good, but there's a bunch of ones that are crap. But it doesn't weigh itself out. So you actually think it's a good product. In reality, it's horrible. So you actually have to delve in the reviews and stuff. I don't know. That's another podcast, I guess.
Oh, I like
Okay.
that with the packaging. Yeah, the packaging
Yeah.
packaging podcast.
Okay, next one. The rich are too highly taxed. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Ooh, I feel so sad for the rich. No, I strongly disagree. The rich they're not too highly. They need to be taxed more. You know what I mean? Oh man, that's just a fact. Sometimes people they'll say this is kind of weird. They'll say, "Oh, this company they paid billions of dollars, or they paid millions of dollars, or whatever." Some CEO. What they never give you is the percentage, right? They don't leave that out. They only give you the amount of money they paid. But it changes everything when you find out they only paid 3%, let's say, of their income. Not 20% or 30%, which is regular people what everybody else pays. So, but anyways, that's my feeling. How'd you answer that one?
The same as you.
You're the best, brother. That's why you're my good buddy. Should never change. Okay. All right. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I'm gonna hit disagree on this one. Oh, I don't know. See, here's the problem with it. When they say higher standards, I don't know what they mean. I guess here's the thing. I feel like I think healthcare should be a basic right for everyone. But I do understand the idea of like, if you have a little more money, you get a little bit better care. Maybe you get into the room a little faster. Maybe it's the
Why
doctor
should there
gives you
even
more
be a
personal
scale
attention.
of better care and lesser care? Shouldn't it all be the best care? Shouldn't it all be?
Yeah, it should be the best care. That's why I answered with the disagree.
Yeah.
Everyone should have access to high standard of care. That's how I feel. Even if you're poor and you have no money, to the person that has a lot of money, we should all get the standard of care. But to be realistic, though, I get the idea when we look at socialistic countries and how they work, like Canada. It's kind of like when you have more money, you get kind of better care. And I'm not against that either. I understand that idea. You know what I mean?
What does that mean, better care? What do you think? What does that mean to you, better
Better
care?
care would mean, so for instance, you would be able to have a room that's a little quieter, you know, not all noisy, right? You might have nurses that are going to come more often and they're super hot looking, you know what I mean? They give you an extra, they might give you a sponge bath, you know, they might do a little extra for you, you know what I mean? That's what that special care means. Better, even better doctor than normal, you know, like the
well, what does that mean? What's a better doctor?
Someone that's, you know, I don't know, like
it doesn't make as many.
It could mean a specialist, like someone high in its field. I mean, of course, everyone should have access to good care, but you know, it's, I don't know, realistically, it doesn't work that way, you know? Don't you think? I mean,
I answered the same as you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just pointing flaws on my own logic. I don't know. Okay. Any more you want to add to that one, or?
No.
Okay, next one.
No.
Governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Strongly agree. Yeah, do not ever mislead the public. It's not your job to do that.
But then is it the government's job to penalize?
Yes.
You do. Okay. See,
otherwise, who else is going to penalize them? You know what I mean?
You said strongly.
Consumers?
The consumers. You said strongly agree.
Yeah, I strongly agree with that.
And I said agree. I say agree. I say agree.
Well, you're wrong. It's strongly agree.
Well, we're still on the same side.
I know. I messed it. I just being, you know, just giving you a hard time.
I'm kind of more for like free enterprise. Like, there's a lot of companies. I mean, we have it right now. There's a lot of companies, and they're trying to scam people. You know, selling pills and, you know, fake treatments and you know, then it gets into like religions and cults and things like that. And I just really feel like people should be free to sort of create those things. And you know, the snake oil salesman, I think there should be some freedom there. But there should also be a lot of freedom for people to say that's BS, and we won't stand for that, and we won't buy those things, and we can boycott those things, and we can protest those things, and we can inform people that there are those false things out there, those scams, the misleading.
I think what's important is how we define mislead. So if, for instance, if you say, oh, these vitamins, they will help you, you know, in some way, and you know, maybe they don't totally help you or whatever, you know, but they're not harmful, but it's a little bit of a placebo, you know, you kind of think, oh, maybe these are good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not, stuff like that, it doesn't bother me so much. But if someone were to say, oh, cigarettes are good for you, you know, oh, these cigarettes these ones are healthy, and you'll live longer by smoking them. And when clearly that's not true, then yeah, you got to penalize people for that, because, you know, when it's a blatant lie, you know, so I guess my thing on that is that mislead has to be pretty strong. It has to be a very strong lie, like it's really deceptive. But it can be a little bit misleading. Is okay.
Mislead is different than a blatant lie, I feel like. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's just how I see it. Like, we're just seeing it kind of differently.
That's a good point, man.
We're interpreting it a little differently.
That's a good point. I'm gonna leave it strongly agree, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Oh, this is a weird question. I don't fully understand that question. See. Okay, to have a free market would require restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Restrictions on them. Yeah, sure. I'm going to agree with that.
You agree? I strongly agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I strongly agree. I mean,
no, you can't change it. You can't change it.
I genuinely
Can't
Free
change
market
it.
requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Predator. That's an important thing. Predator, right? So that's even more like, okay, yeah, I'm going to leave it. Strongly agree.
To me, that's important, but also the word multinational.
Yeah. Okay, so we're on
monopoly.
the next. We're on 3 of 6. I hope I'm not taking too long here on these.
Oh, we should be close to the end.
Okay.
I think
no, we
religion.
Got page 3 of 6. So I'm going to go with these a little faster.
Oh, really?
Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. Strongly disagree. Abortion should always be legal, not illegal. So that's nothing to say about that. That's how I feel. All authority should be questioned. I agree.
Strongly agree here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just agree. Yeah. I guess strongly agree, but I'll just
no, don't. Agree. You can't change it. Yeah,
I'm not going to change it. I'm going to leave it. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree because that just leaves you with 2 loose teeth and no eyes. You know what I mean? It doesn't help anything, right?
No, I say disagree.
2 wrongs don't make a right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. That's the way that works.
I say disagree. Yeah.
Yep. Strongly disagree. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters and museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Wow, interesting. I'm going to have to agree with that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But I don't want to, right?
I don't want, I don't like the idea of a museum. Yeah, I want museums to be around. I want theaters to be around, but I'm afraid if people don't want to go to them, they don't need to be propped up, you know?
It's another case of like the consumer
right
sort of supports the market, like even in cases of art.
I'll give you an example. During the pandemic, that one time when they were doing what was it? It's like some bailouts and stuff, you know, industries that needed bailout or needed help, you know. When I found out that the cruise industry needed help, I thought, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, those guys do not need any help at all. You know what? They're lowest on the totem pole as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, let it sink, you know? Right?
Yeah, let that shit sink. Are you kidding me? So, I mean, you know, okay, all right, moving on here. Take forever. Okay. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Should not make. I disagree. You know what?
I agree.
You agree? Schools should not make classroom attendance. What's that mean, compulsory? Like a force? Is that
force?
Like
yeah.
Should not make classroom attendance. Oh, I see your point. Yeah. Should not make.
You should go with your first inclination. Yeah. Because I could be interpreting it my way, you know, it's just the way I interpret it.
I feel like people should, you know, I'm a little old school, I guess. I feel like you should go to school, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, that's what it says in the rule book, is you're supposed to go. Everyone just follow what I say, you know? So I'm a little bit more like that. Like, I think everyone should go to school, you know, at least the beginning grades, you know, and then after that, you can do whatever you want. I mean, actually, people can do whatever they want. So if you don't want to send your kid to school, then don't, you know. You think that homeschooling is better? I'm not against homeschooling or charter schools or some other form of education. So does that mean that I shouldn't answer it that way? I guess that's where I'm confused.
Yeah, it's kind of how you interpret the question.
Yeah, so maybe I interpret it wrong. Okay.
Well, no. It's how you interpret the question.
Yeah, I know. Okay, all people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind.
Some of them just make you laugh, kind of, huh?
So stupid. Strongly disagree. All people have their rights, but it's better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind.
Keep to yourselves, yeah.
Keep it to yourself.
Keep to yourselves. Like, just stay in your own group. Yeah.
I strongly disagree. What'd you put down for that one?
The same thing. Yeah. Strongly disagree.
It seems weird. I don't know.
But I like the idea of it.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. It kind of makes sense, but no.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. You know what? I'm going to agree with that. You know, oh, you're not supposed to hit your kid. No, man. Sometimes the way kids are treated now, like, oh, Johnny's so special. You can't do nothing to him. You go sit in the corner.
He gets to choose whatever he wants, even though he's only 4.5. Yeah.
No, man, we gotta like enforce shit. You know what I mean? A little bit. Otherwise, we're gonna have society of dumbasses. You know, so sometimes you gotta spank your kids. I'm not saying you gotta don't beat your kids, right? But you know, it's a little spanking. You know, is probably a good idea. But
well, yeah,
I mean, know.
It might not be a good idea, but sometimes good parents might have to spank their kids.
Were you spanked as a kid?
Yeah, I think I got spanked a couple times. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's cool. Were you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
not too much. I was a pretty good boy. So, okay, it's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Yes, I strongly agree. Children will naturally keep some secrets from their parents. Possessing marijuana for personal use. Ooh, marijuana.
Oh, that's not the secret.
Should not be a criminal offense.
This is the next question. Yeah.
Should not be a criminal. I strongly agree, man. I mean, should not be. No, of course it shouldn't be a criminal offense. You know, joints should be given out to whoever needs them, you know. I believe in that. So, okay. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. I'm going to disagree with this one.
Interesting.
This is you have to really think hard on this question to get it right, okay?
To get it right. Yeah.
So here's why I say that. I think it's always been looked upon that way, that jobs, and I kind of agree with the question. I mean, I agree with the idea of it. Schools usually are there so that we can get better jobs. But they're missing an important thing, which is it needs to educate. They should make us, we should learn to be critical thinkers and not just to get a job. The whole point of schooling is to be educated and to learn about stuff and to become a better society, not just to get a job, but getting a job is hella important, right? So it's kind of both. So that's why I put disagree. Yeah. It has to be more than just a job.
I agree with you, but I did say agree.
You said agree. Well, you're
because
wrong.
I feel like that is.
No, you're right.
I like what you said. Like, I kind of want to go back and change my answer. Yeah, but I'm not gonna.
I get but it is kind of the prime. It is kind of the prime reason.
That's why I said agree. That's why
I could see your point.
Yeah,
but I feel like it should be more than that. I think it's.
Well, I agree that it should be. It should be more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna leave it at that, I guess. Man, I want to change it though. I'm gonna leave it though. All right. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Interesting. I'm going to disagree, but I'm not going to say strongly disagree. Obviously I believe in people should have the freedom. So, you know, if you want to have children and don't pass on some bad traits, what can I say? You know, it's the way it goes, right? So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it's the way it goes.
Just the way it goes. I'm not going to try to control it. So, most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. That is not the most important thing. Strongly disagree with that. That's not the most. To just be, to accept discipline. So, there are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. There are no savage and civilized peoples. I'm going to disagree with that too.
savage and civilized. There are no.
They're saying there's no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. Well, it's kind of a weird question, but first of all, both can be true. So there are different cultures, and there are some people who are very much savage as being, just I don't know what that word means, but just, not nice, you know what I mean? And there are people that are really civilized. So that's why I disagree with it.
So because you think that there are savage,
there are some people that are not cultures.
Oh, people.
There are some savage. There are savage and civilized peoples. Yeah, there's some people that are. They're only different cultures. No, I think people are beyond just their culture, So I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I'm answering that wrong. It makes me sound weird when I.
It does kind of, huh? It's kind of awkward. It's kind of awkward.
It's awkward because when what I don't like is when they use the word savage. It's often referred to as the indigenous people. And they've used that word to describe them as savages, and so I'm really against that. Like that really bothers me. But at the same time, I get the idea that no, there are some people. That culture doesn't mean they're savages. It just means that there are some people in our society that are like Jeffrey Dahmer, right? You can't ignore that there are Jeffrey Dahmers in our society. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm going to be very specific.
You're thinking
about
a savage person,
right? Not a savage culture.
Yeah, see, I'm thinking of like there might be some cultures that are savage. I'm not thinking of like in what was the word you used? Indigenous, like
indigenous, yeah, the Native American,
Yeah, I'm thinking of savage as like cultures that I feel that are dangerous.
Yeah,
cultures. I'm. That's how I translated the word savage to mean for me, as like there are some cultures. Yeah. Mostly, I'm thinking of like religious cultures that are that I consider dangerous or savage.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting lead up when we do the next podcast, but. Actually I don't think there's any real, I would never say a culture is savage. Sometime we'll have to get into this whole, it's called spiral dynamics. And basically there's different evolution or different levels of societies. And each society has to go through one level. And then, when they've solved those issues, then they kind of go to another level. You know what I mean? And so if you're in a level where you're just purely in survival mode, you don't have enough to eat and you need water, your culture is going to be completely different. And you're going to, like, if you were in that culture, you would do what they're doing. You would act the way they would because you have to survive. And so I would never see them as being, they're not savage. They're just doing what's their circumstance, the way it is. They have to do things differently, So
think about what about and I'm going to bring up the Nazi thing again. You brought it up once, so I'm going to bring it up once.
Sure, go for it.
What about like Nazi Germany? Would that be, to me? I'm thinking like, that would kind of be like savage culture. That's what I was thinking of. Like,
yeah, okay, yeah, I agree with that.
I'm just thinking, for me, it just meant like dangerous, like something that
that's
culture
true.
that I find to be dangerous.
That's true. I mean. Yeah, it's weird because a lot of times we look back in history and whether it be the Nazis or any time period, and whether it be slavery, and we kind of think, we kind of judge that time period because of the time period we're in now. When we think we'd never do that, and I think personally that it doesn't work that way. When you're in that time period, you stuck there. And there's some individualistic people that were like, oh man, that's bullshit. Like slavery's lame. I'm against it. But even those people had to be quiet about it. And the ones that weren't quiet about it, they got killed. You know what I mean? So it's like there's very few people that are willing. I think it's great if people, kind of push society a little bit and, go against the grain. I'm all for that. And there's going to be martyrs. There's going to be people that are going to stand up for people, but that just is not reality. Like most of the time we understand things based on the time period that we're in, and we judge things based on the past, but it's weird when you're in that situation. You're going to think differently. You know what I mean? I think
this kind of goes to what you were saying about how you thought it was important in the education system to teach critical thinking, because then that allows people to have their own sort of critical thinking, and they can think outside of that,
yeah,
outside of the dangerous brainwashing thought patterns and things like that. Yeah.
exactly. So I hope I answered that good. Okay, let's see next one. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity. I'm going to hit agree on that one.
Me too. Yeah.
It seems a little harsh though. I feel
Yeah.
like, but
That's why we didn't say strongly agree, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel like we're all in this together, and I understand there's a difference between some people can't work. I'll go this, and with this situation, they're saying that they're able to work.
They're able to. Yeah.
But here's where this question gets a little weird. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have someone who's on welfare, okay, and they have, I don't know, 4 kids that they have to support. You could say, well, oh, they have the opportunity to work. That's true. They have the opportunity. But then when they get, because of their education, maybe when they get a job, they literally don't have enough to feed their family. So by staying on welfare, keeping the support that they got from the society, they they're able to feed their children. So I totally understand people that stay on welfare, because if they got a job, they don't make enough money. So so maybe I disagree with that question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit disagree.
Are you changing your answer? I feel like you're
based on what I
answer.
just said. Do you see my point?
Well, I feel like you're changing your answer, but it's, it's your test.
I'll change it back to agree. I don't know.
But that's
It's
just 'cause
hard, man.
I said agree as well.
Yeah. But you see my
Yeah.
why my confliction of that. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll move on to the next. Let's see. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Aww. It's better to keep it. I don't know. This is a stupid question. I'm gonna hit disagree. That's dumb.
Oh. It is kind of dumb.
More trouble is better not to think about it. No, you can't control what you think about.
I said agree.
Busy. You agree? No, I don't. Yeah. Whatever.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
I think the more you think about something else, the more you think about what it is you don't want to think about. So, okay. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. That I strongly disagree. That's not true. They can, I would say they never can be fully integrated. Some can and some can't. So, so I strongly disagree.
Yeah.
What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. What's good for the most successful corp is always. I strongly disagree with that.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Makes no sense at all. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. I strongly disagree.
Oh, wait.
No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive. Wait a second. No broad. Oh, they should not receive public funding. No. They should. I think it's okay to receive public funding. What's wrong with that?
Oh, can you repeat the question?
All right, sorry. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Nothing wrong with public funding.
Why should oh, why did I say public
let
funding?
me explain
That
this.
doesn't mean government funding, does it?
No, public
Why
funding.
did I interpret it that way? I interpreted it as like the taxpayer.
That's your own problem, bro. No, it just means
I'm thinking of like the public, like PBS, like public broadcasting.
Exactly.
System.
Yeah.
But the government does fund that to some degree.
No, not the government, but like, yeah, maybe they might fund it, or it could be funding by private donations. Like, if you happen to like NPR, then you could donate to them.
It says public though. See, I'm interpreting.
Public means that doesn't mean private. It's not a private. It's not a public funding. Oh, I see. It just comes from the government or whatever.
I don't think the government or tax dollars should go to a broadcasting company. But obviously, I think people should be able to donate whatever they want and to fund it however they want on their own, but not through.
I think just public funding just means, it doesn't mean taxing. They're not saying that. They're just saying,
that's how I interpreted it. And
like if I gave money to, I don't know, some podcaster, I mean, why not?
Of course, that's fine.
I'm for that. Why, so I support.
It says public funding.
Public.
I interpreted it as like taxes.
Oh.
Like the public is taxed and some of that money goes to PBS or NPR or something like that.
Yeah. I'm going to put agree, but maybe because I don't understand the question.
I think I answered strongly disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I don't understand it, or we just have different interpretations of it.
Yeah, it could be that. Okay, so our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. I agree with that, actually.
I strongly agree.
Yeah, I would say
I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. You're probably right. I wouldn't put it strongly because I'm not sure how much it is.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that I don't agree with you. I just not sure how much.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the Patriot Act, right? There's certain things where they're allowed to spy on us. It seems like there's certain things that they've been able to do, that I don't like, in the name of terrorism. So yeah, I think they're excessively curbed. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. I don't think there's ever an advantage of a one-party state. See what I'm saying? So I'm going to say I disagree, but I kind of see what they're saying. It's funny, I agree with it in one way. I understand there's some truth in it, right? That let me give you an example. Like, China doesn't have the type of democracy that the United States has. And people think that's bad, right? It's automatically that makes them worse than us, right? Maybe so. But when it comes down to it, this part fits. It says it avoids all the arguments that delay progress. That's right. They get to do whatever they want because they rule everything and they decide. You got to go along with the ride. Doesn't make it right. But what happens is they get a lot more progress. They get a lot of shit done. You know what I mean? Look at where they are economically. Where is our jobs? Gone. They have the jobs, right? They build everything. Everything that you look at is made in China. Why is that? That's because, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it, but it's partly because there's been a focus. They're one way focused on one thing, which is to further their society. So, as much as you think, oh, that their society makes no sense, I don't know, man. They seem to be successful. Am I right about that? We may not agree with it, but they're definitely successful.
Yeah, to the detriment of a lot of other things.
Huh?
to the detriment of a lot of other things,
Right.
you know, including things that you brought up already, like the environment regulations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put disagree
Okay.
because I think that I see kind of what they're saying, but
Yeah.
here's something that's kind of funny. Here's why it doesn't make sense, because progress, okay, so it's a progressive thing to have only one party. I don't know how it's progressive to only have one party. And then how is it democratic if it's only one party? See, those two ideas right there make it automatically false. See what I'm saying? So I should put strongly disagree, but I kept it as disagree. Okay. So although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. I strongly disagree.
Me too. Okay.
Surveillance is something that, I don't like. So, okay. Death penalty should be an option for the most serious of crimes. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. This is interesting because I'm not with a lot of liberals on this. I don't know why, but it's weird. I'm gonna agree with the death penalty.
Really?
That
I mean,
for most
I don't.
serious
Yeah,
crimes.
that's fine. That's fine.
But here's the funny thing. I can totally see the reasoning not to have the death penalty too.
Yeah.
So I'm weird about this one. I wish I could say NA, like I'm not sure. I don't know. I wish I could answer that because I honestly don't want to take a stand. Huh?
I strongly disagree.
So you don't agree with the death penalty at all? They should never have.
No, I don't. We're on opposite ends of that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But at the same time, I don't care if like the most serious committers of the most serious crimes are killed. Like I don't care. Like I'm fine with that. But I disagree.
Then why are you against the death penalty then?
Well, I'm against the death penalty, but I'm just saying I don't.
Because why though? Why are you against death penalty? Why?
I think it sends the wrong message that is for a society to kill people. Yeah, I just disagree with that idea. But if a mass murderer or some serial killer gets killed, I don't have sorrow for that. That doesn't really bother me. But I just think the death penalty is wrong.
Yeah. I think one problem with my thing for it, is that there's been a lot of cases when people have been on death row and it turned out they were innocent, I mean,
yeah.
And it's sad, the idea that you're going to put someone to death, it's morally wrong when they didn't do anything wrong.
Well, that's terrible.
And
yeah,
it's wrong. So, God.
You already agreed with it.
I think for the most serious crimes, I think it still should be allowed. So. Anyways, I feel bad about that answer, but it is what it is. Okay. All right. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. Above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. I'm going to disagree with this.
I strongly disagree.
It's because one must always have people to be obeyed. There's going to be times when you're not always going to obey everything, and there's times when you should take a stand. So right away. But I think overall that's kind of true, right? You're in a job and your boss tells you something. You lose your job if you don't obey your boss, right? You have a choice. You still have choices, but so I disagree with that. Okay. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all.
Some of them just make me laugh.
So stupid. What a dumb question. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art. No, that's not true. Art could be anything it wants to be. So
I kind of agree with it, but I strongly disagree.
It didn't have to represent anything. You know what I mean? It could just be a blank piece of paper with a little.
But that's what art is.
Circle. You know what I mean?
but art is like it's in the eye of who sees it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
eye of the beholder,
yeah,
exactly.
because I could see a piece of art and say I could say that's not art, but it is art. It actually
Yeah, if
is.
someone's willing
Yeah,
to pay money for it, it's art. You know?
yeah.
Okay, next question. Here it is. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. I strongly disagree.
I disagree. I disagree with that.
So I strongly disagree. Criminal punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. No, I think punishment is not really the most important thing. It's we need to rehabilitate to like. Let me give you an example. Like someone gets out of prison, we don't want them to commit the same crime again, right? So if it's just a punishment and then you don't rehabilitate them, then they're just going to commit the same crime again. Especially if they're in the same economic troubles, you know?
What
So
about
they,
people who are in prison for life though? Should they be rehabilitated?
probably not, because it's not going to do any good, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but I don't think punishment should not be. Now, see, it's weird to me because I feel like there's something amiss here. Because earlier you said that you were against, the death penalty, which to me is the highest form of punishment. It's saying, hey, you're going to die because you did something wrong, right? That's punishment at the highest level. And now what you're telling me is
No, but
that's
I'm
the punishment is somehow more important than rehabilitation. I don't get that, man.
I see what you're. I see how. Yeah, I'm interpreting this second question differently, a little bit differently, because I'm assuming there's some people who are never going to get out of prison because they're in there for life.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that there's some people who can't be rehabilitated. So it's pointless to rehabilitate them.
That's true. Yeah, these questions are hard. It's hard to give an exact answer on these. Okay, let's go next question. It's a waste of time to try. Oh, wait, did I answer that one? Oh, so another criminal justice question. Okay, it's a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. Now that's a different question. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. There are some criminals, for whatever reason, they cannot be rehabilitated.
You agree or strongly agree?
I agree.
I strongly agree.
Fine, I strongly agree.
No, I strongly agree.
Yeah, I strongly agree too.
No, you just agree.
No, I strongly agree. I changed my mind.
No, you can't.
I can change my mind. Hey,
you can't.
Hey, don't tell me what I can and can't do. All right.
You can change your mind, but you're not supposed to.
I know. Here's the next question. The business person.
Wait, for the audio listeners to the Filthy Truth Exposed, I just want to point out that Filthy Phil here just gave us a little nude segment, and then he changed his shirt. So you should tune into the.
It's true. I got too hot. I'm feeling the pressure over here. You know what I mean?
You are, and you got your jail fatigues on now, right?
Exactly. All right. I'm wearing orange today. It's all I'm going with the orange. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's see. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. I disagree. You know, yeah, I don't know why I disagree with that, but not always. Because
you're saying they're equal.
Yeah, they're kind of equal.
Yeah, I would say, it could be equal. Yeah. It's better to be equal than for one to be more important. Yeah. I disagree with it too.
Okay, good. Mothers may have mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers.
Yes.
Woo. That shit's funny, man. Oh, it's interesting. I could see someone believing that's true,
Well, even women, even some women would. Yeah, because it's fine. It's actually fine because it says they can have jobs, but they also have to be homemakers.
But no, it's their first duty
their first duty.
See, that's what's really strongly disagree with. There's no such thing as their first duty. No.
Right.
No, right. Women can do whatever they want to. They can have a career, they are not a career, or they can have kids or not have kids.
Yeah.
They're free to do whatever they want. So I strongly disagree with that. Okay. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. Plant genetic resources. I think I strongly agree with that. That's true. Multinational companies are, stealing shit, from other countries, but that's what they do. That's part of who they are. You know what I mean? So that's the way it goes, right?
Yeah, I picked the same answer as you. Yeah.
Of course you did, because I'm right. That's the way it is. Okay. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. No, fuck that shit. Strongly disagree. It doesn't mean maturity. It's making peace with the establishment. I don't think we have to make peace, although I think peace is nice. I would prefer it, but we can't always be peaceful, So.
Oh, you interpret it as like peaceful versus violence. That's not really how I interpret it. I mean, like I think of it as like making peace, like with yourself, like coming to terms with the fact that you have to bow down to somebody else.
Bow down to the establishment?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of it as like it's either peace or violence, But I gave the same answer as you. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. Next page.
So I was right again.
Okay, 5 of 6. Astrology accurately explains many things. I disagree with that.
Oh, I strongly disagree.
Yeah, I just disagree.
Just disagree. So you're kind of
maybe
you like crystals. You like crystals and stuff.
I don't know. Like maybe it could. What it is? I'm. I don't know enough about it. So sometimes when I don't know enough about something, I'll just be like, I disagree with it, but I don't know exactly. I'm sure there may be cases when they get it right, but I doubt it. But
I don't mean to laugh at you on this on that.
No, it's okay. I don't know what to say.
But I am laughing at you.
Yeah, I disagree. You want me to put down strongly disagree, but
no, I want you to put down whatever you want.
Yeah. So okay. Let's see. You cannot be moral without being religious. Oh God. I love how I said "oh God" to that one. That's funny. You cannot be moral without being religious. Strongly disagree. It's absolutely stupid to think that. Charity is better than Social Security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. No. Any question on that one?
I say agree.
What? Charity? You think charity is better than Social Security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really? That's how you'd answer that?
Yeah, that's how I answered it. Yeah.
Okay. So let me just ask you this. I want to go too much into this, but if we were to get rid of Social Security, do you really think that charities are going to have enough money to help out people on a regular basis? So Social Security is where they take money out, you know what I mean? And then they save it, they hold it on, and then they give it back to you because that's the way it works. You work and then they save, withhold some money. And then later on you get that money back. And we need that. We have to have that. Charities, they help a little bit. I'm not against charities, but there's not enough money in charities to help people to the point where, I don't know where you're going with that. You don't think you need Social Security? Are you kidding me?
Well, that's not the question.
Yes, it is. It says charity is better. It's supposedly better than Social Security. No, it's not. It's not better than Social Security. Social Security is an important thing.
I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying that I think charity
is not more important than Social Security.
No, I'm not. No, I'm saying that it's better, not more important. I'm saying it's better.
Charity is better than Social Security. Well, how is charity? Why do you
That's the
think that?
question.
Why do you think people should just give money just to give it to you?
What? No,
That makes no sense.
the idea of charity
Social
is
security. Wait a second. Wait a second.
yeah.
You say you're all for independence. How could you be for independence if you think that you should have charity? That makes no sense.
No.
No, listen to me. If
Well,
you're
maybe we're
independent,
interpreting it differently
if
too.
you're independent,
Yeah.
then Social Security is a natural thing because it's a system set up so that you will have money later in life. But
It's
charity
important.
is a wish. It's like, oh, I hope someone will help me. You know what I mean?
I interpreted
And
it.
listen, there's
Yeah.
repercussions for your beliefs. Because here's why. Here's what happens, right?
I feel like I'm talking to somebody in prison right now. Like you're
Because I'm wearing the orange.
yeah.
I'll never wear orange again. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Explain what you
Well,
said.
I think maybe we just interpret it a little bit differently. I'm interpreting it to mean like that I think charity is better. It's better for society to be able to give, and it's better for a society. It's better to have a giving society than a not giving society. It's better for society in the long run to give to people that need it, to take care of people that need it.
Yeah, I guess I'm more of a realist. I mean, I just feel like, yeah, I'm not against charity. It's just that there's not enough people. Again, we go back to the same thing. People are generally selfish. They're
Yeah.
not charitable. So there are a few that charitable.
Okay.
There's not enough charitable people
So let me
to
ask
make
you
up the
this.
difference.
Is it better to be charitable or better to be selfish?
Well, I think it's better to be charitable.
Well, I do too.
But that's not what it's asking. That's not what it's saying. It's
Okay, what does
saying
it
that
say?
is it better than Social Security? Social Security is
yeah.
a system that's different, a system that's in place that makes a huge difference. If you were to get rid of Social Security, so charity is not going to fix what Social Security replaces. It will not fix that system that we have.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you could have a society that was charitable or a society that was just like a social security system, which society is better? Which is the better society? A society that gives and supports its people individually, like through charity, through a system of giving. Organizations give to support. They give food and clothes and money and services and things like that. Is that society better than a system that doesn't have charity, that just has a social security system?
I think a Social Security system is better than a charitable system.
Well, that's why you answered that way. I mean, I think that a charity system, I think that a charitable
system, first of all, it's unrealistic. Like I said, there's not enough people.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying that.
And not only
realistic.
that, but here's the problem with the charitable one is that it's basically always requiring people to give something.
It's not requiring. It's charity.
Right, but it's assuming that there's enough charitable people that it will make up the difference.
And I don't think
it will. It just won't.
Not assuming.
It won't. It won't make up the difference.
Charity is better. I still feel like charity is better. I mean, just the way I interpret it is it better? Is it better to have a charitable society or a society that's not charitable? I think it's better to have a charitable society.
See, here's the problem. Oh, there goes my microphone. It's not saying
they let you have microphones in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the one item you can have?
Yeah, it's the only one I can have. It's a snowball. Okay, that's okay. We could agree to disagree. I see your point somewhat. I kind of agree, but kind of not. So I won't get into it. But that's okay. Well, let's go on to the next one. Okay. Or did you want to talk more about that one?
No, that's fine. I mean, it's interesting. Like it
is.
I thought you would agree with me more on that. Yeah.
Really?
But I think maybe we interpret it a little bit differently.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm against charity. I'm not. I don't want to say I'm against it. I just don't think it's not realistic.
I kind of agree that maybe it's not realistic.
Yeah. So can I give you an example? Let me just give you one example to prove my point. Okay. Yeah. So I know that when you're if you have to go to the hospital, let's say, and you can't afford to pay, that you can have there's some, because of charities, people have donated money and stuff, that you can get some support there. Like you can have some care because someone provided that care. So that's good. I'm glad that there's people that there are giving people, that sometimes there's that opportunity where you need the money, you don't have it, and so someone gave the money, anonymous donor, and so you'd be able to take advantage of that system. But I can tell you though that in many cases, that helps. It makes a difference. But there's a lot of cases when there's just not enough charity there to make up the discrepancy.
I think that's true. Yeah.
So that's why we have to have a kind of a system in place. And that's why it's unrealistic to think charity will fix the problems. And I've heard a lot of people on the right use that as saying, well, I just give charity and then that's it. And then it takes care of society. And I'm like, no, you have to have a system and charity to sort of make things work out. But
wait, so the system isn't good enough then? It needs charity as well.
Well, I think it's in our system. Yeah, it doesn't seem we don't have a good enough system. But if we had a good enough system, you wouldn't need charity.
I'm seeing the word better. I'm thinking of it like in a holistic sense for society. It's better to have a charitable society.
I see you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see your point there. So, okay. Yeah, I see your point. I don't know how to answer that, I guess. So, okay, let's see. Go next question. Some people are naturally unlucky. I disagree with that. I don't know how I feel about that. That's what I put.
Yeah, I think I feel the same as you.
I didn't put strongly, but I wasn't sure. Okay, it's more important that my child's school instills religious values. Yes, strongly agree. It's important. You should have the morals. You know what I mean? Every child should pray in school. Every child should follow my religion that I follow. My religion is the only one that you should follow.
Yeah, but it says
you
religious
must follow
values.
My religion, my values.
Religious values. Not necessarily religious doctrine or religious, scripture or things like that. It says religious values.
Yeah, I'm messing around with people here. I strongly disagree. So religion doesn't belong in school, okay? That's a newsflash for you guys. Doesn't belong in school. Never should be.
I can see a way. I agree with your answer, and I answered the same way as you. But I can see a way that it would be okay to agree with that, in the sense of like a religious value. Here's a value. While I don't believe in God, it's good to try to behave like God exists.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh,
I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know what you mean. Actually, I think atheists can be very moral. I think we can be more moral than people that are religious.
Sure.
Sure. Because a religious person thinks, oh, I can do whatever I want because I said 3 Hail Marys, or
right.
I said that I believed in Jesus or whatever it is, or Allah or something, and then they can do whatever they want and fuck things up around here, and then that's it. And then they can, or they come up with something in their text that makes it them allowed to do stuff, and they just do whatever they want. Whereas the atheist person thinks, there's no, who knows what's going to happen, and I should do the right things just to be a good person. It doesn't matter whether there's a God or not. I don't need to, right? So that's my thing. What do you think about that?
I agree with you, yeah.
Thank you, brother. Okay. We're finally on to sex. Yeah. Okay. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Ooh. Yeah, I agree with that. You know what I mean? It's really immoral, Oh, God. Give me a break. Strongly disagree, okay? Didn't matter. Sex outside marriage
You don't think it's immoral?
Well, now what am I saying here?
Oh no! Don't let me influence you. I'm not trying to influence you.
Sex outside marriage. I'm going to disagree with that.
Yo, you don't strongly disagree.
Well, now this is tough. I guess if I'm being realistic, I don't think you should have, if you're married, you shouldn't have sex outside of your marriage.
Wait, I shouldn't or you shouldn't?
Well, I mean, yeah, myself.
You're going to
and
judge other people. Like you're making
no, myself too. So
but you're
I
judging
guess
other
I have
people.
to agree with that one if I'm being realistic. I guess here's the problem.
Wow.
I know that there's some people
You're
the way they
agreeing with
view.
it.
No, listen.
Okay.
Some people are sort of like an open relationship thing. They're married.
Oh, wait.
See what I'm
no,
saying?
doesn't it mean it means you're not married? It doesn't mean you're married and you're cheating on your partner, or does it?
I don't know. It's confusing. Sex outside marriage. Does it mean you have to be married to have sex? Is that what they're trying to say?
I think that's how I interpret it. Yeah.
Okay, then that would be strongly disagree then.
Yeah, that's how I interpret it. Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong or just differently.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, you're right. Sex outside marriage. So it basically means you have to be married in order to have sex. No, I don't agree with that. That's stupid.
Let me ask you this. What about if a person was married, then is it immoral for them to cheat, basically?
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Catholic priests, are they moral or immoral? You don't want to answer, do you?
Well, you didn't answer my question.
Okay, what was your question?
In a marriage, if somebody cheats, is that moral or immoral?
Immoral.
It's immoral. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they shouldn't do it.
I guess.
And people do it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's kind of immoral. I mean, if there's such a thing as immorality, but I guess it's a choice. You can do it, but I kind of look down upon it a little bit. I mean, it's not something that you should do, because marriage is kind of a contract. It's a thing of relationships. It's a society thing. So I think I understand that idea, but this has to do with something different. This has to do with that in order to have sex, you should be married. I don't agree with that.
That's how I interpreted the question. Yeah. So we both strongly disagree to that interpretation. Yeah.
Okay, good.
But to your question, I think a Catholic priest, I would feel safe enough to say that person is moral.
Moral. Sure. So when they're having sex with children, and they can't get married, are they moral or immoral?
Well, then in that case, I think it's clear. Yeah.
It's clear? Okay, cool. Yeah. We're on the same page then. Okay. All right, here we go. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. I strongly agree with that. I don't think that you have to be a heterosexual couple to adopt or whatever. So I'm for freedom. So that's how I feel.
What about a single person? Should a single person be excluded?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
What about a single homosexual person?
Also excluded. Yeah, well, you think that makes them special?
Well, I'm just testing the waters here.
Well, no, so what all I'm saying is, I think if we're allowing people to adopt a single person, I mean, there's going to be times when maybe there's no other choice, but they have to, I mean, if there's no one else, it's
that's what I would say.
To me, but what I'm trying to say is, I honestly, I feel like for the most part, it should be okay. Here's the problem. Let's say that you allow a single person to adopt. The court could say this, and as long as they can answer this question, well, maybe they could do it. But how are you going to raise your kid if you have to go to work and you're not going to be able to see your kid or not be able to raise your kid?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How are you going to be able to do that? So if you can answer, now there's some parents who are single parents raising their kid. but this is adoption, so it should be a different standard. You know what I mean? So there should be two people there that's available, but maybe there's cases when, a single parent and they're really rich and they, they can provide for their kid. I mean, I can't totally disagree with that. So I don't know how to answer
So
that.
then you're saying they shouldn't be excluded, it sounds like. Then in that case, then I want to ask you, what if it was a 3-parent household? Should they be excluded from adopting?
Oh boy. That's a man. I'm a little conservative when it comes to that stuff. I mean, I'm not down with the. I mean, I get it. There's some people that do their thing that they got 3 people, or what, a triangle relationship, and they
Triangle,
got some
yeah.
kind of, you know. But when it comes to kids, no, man. It's like,
So it's the two. You like the 2-person?
yeah,
It
they
needs
can
to
be
be 2
gay, they
people.
can be straight, but 2 people is I'm a little bit, a little bit conservative. I don't know why. I mean, and not against the whole triangle thing or open relationships. I just feel like when it comes to children that um there's, I don't know. That's a tough one though. Because here's the problem. If I say what I'm saying, then I'm saying people aren't free to do what they want, and I'm ultimately against that idea. You know what I mean? So I see your point there. I guess it would have to depend on the circumstance. You know what I mean? I would be open to it. I would have to listen to what their point of view is. But still, I would always have to take, you know, basically what can help the child. I'd have to think about what is in the best interest of the kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I'm
So on
saying?
that, do you want a really tough question about the best interest of the kid?
Yeah.
You want a really tough question?
Sure. Give me a tough question.
Okay. So in the best interest of the kid, now there's one kid and you have 2 families,
Okay.
a man and a woman who are in a heterosexual marriage,
Yeah.
and you have two men that are in a homosexual marriage,
Okay.
and you have one kid.
One kid. Yeah.
They're both, by all accounts, they're both pretty much the same, except one's heterosexual and one's homosexual.
Okay.
Where do you put the kid? In the best interest of the kid, where does the kid go?
So it's like they're all being equal, so to speak.
Yeah, except one's gay and one's straight.
Um, it's a first come first serve. You know what I mean? Like
The
whoever
best
the
interest of the kid. The best interest of the kid.
best interest of the kid.
You're thinking of the kid.
Um, yeah,
First come, first serve.
I'm first come first serve. I mean, if they put in their application
Alphabetical.
first,
You just go alphabetical.
or just pick a name out of the hat. Like if seriously, you have, it's like
Okay.
2 applicants, right? And they're both
Yeah.
good. Let's say you have a woman here and a man here, and they both have the same qualifications. And I don't know which one is. They're both equal in my mind. Then I'd have to have somebody else pick, or I'd have to do it, in kind of in a way that just is random, because I don't think necessarily I feel like homosexuals can raise their children just as well as a heterosexual couple can. You know what I mean? Probably years ago I would not agree with that idea,
Oh yeah.
but I feel like I've evolved enough to realize that anyone can raise their kid, raise a kid, and it's
Anybody can. I mean, it's
so.
it's. I feel like for me, in the best interest of the kid,
Mm-hmm.
I think the kid would rather have a mom and a dad than 2 dads.
Yeah, I do
Right?
see.
But reality, obviously, is that there's tons of kids that need homes,
Yeah,
and so, gay or straight families is fine.
yeah.
There's tons of kids that need homes,
I think the thing is, you just never know how the kid will turn out. There's always
or
a
how the
little bit of
parents
like,
will turn out.
yeah, you don't know what kind of people they are,
Yeah.
So, but I do think, though, I'm going to be realistic here. There's going to be a little bit of a bias, like because I am heterosexual. I'm probably going to lean. There's a natural lean to picking the heterosexual couple, because I would think that would be, because that's what I do. That's who I am. So I'm going to pick that.
Your
But because I
bias.
know my biases, because I know that that's that I know for a fact that hetero or same-sex couples can also raise kids just fine.
But by that account, you're saying then a homosexual person would be biased towards a homosexual couple raising a kid. They would choose a homosexual couple over a heterosexual.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how that works, but I'm just saying. I think when it comes to biases, it's just important to be aware of it. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I know this is how I would generally choose, and then sometimes because if you don't realize that, what you'll do is the way you ask questions, you automatically would just kind of skew it so they'll fail. You know what I mean? So that you just ask certain questions so that one group kind of gets the preferential treatment than the other because the way you ask the questions. But yeah, that's a tough one. That's really tough.
This is the filthy truth exposed, man. That's
it is. Yeah,
it's all about. Yeah,
that's the filthy truth. What it's all about, man. Just uncovering those uncomfortable questions. So, okay, let's go to the next one here. We're now on to pornography. All right. So, pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. I strongly agree with that. People have the right to porn. You know what I mean?
Do they let you have that in prison?
Yeah, I think so. No, probably not. I don't know. Okay. What goes on in a private bedroom? Well, I love that. The private bedroom. Between consenting adults is no business of the state. Yeah, I strongly agree with that. Don't you agree?
Well, I mean, I think the state can ask some questions about what goes on, in the bedroom.
They can? Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
so.
they could put a camera in there and broadcast it on the government channels.
Okay, so it says no one can feel naturally homosexual. No one can feel naturally. So I strongly disagree with that. Some people are definitely homosexual and they feel natural towards that. I want to just point something out about sexuality and all these different things that we've talked about, and point to this is going to be a later on podcast. Okay, so I'm going to just ask you this question because this is some crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
Some things I've thought about. Some of the things that you do in your life that you take as natural, like, oh, that's how it is. That's how we do things. So, for instance, even things like sexual preference, okay, or let's just say not sexual preference, but let's just say things that you like sexually, like if there's something that you prefer, like you might prefer blondes or you might prefer women with big breasts or whatever it is, right? So my feeling is that some of that is individualistic. Some of that is just you kind of come about it on your own, but some of that is just simply kind of like your society, what you've been sort of not like taught, but like there's some stuff from your family and from your friends and everything and TV and all that stuff. It shaped who you are. So I actually believe you take somebody and you put them in a different environment and they can come out any way you choose, man. You can make anybody do anything. Like you can make them believe that the feet is the most important part of the body. You can make them believe that you should be homosexual, not heterosexual is the norm. Right? We know that. We go back to Greece and how the philosophers did stuff. Sex was only to have children. You would have sex with a male because you were passing on stuff to that younger person or whatever. I mean, they did crazy stuff. Did they do those things because they thought about it? Oh yeah, this is, no. They were in a society that was that way, and they just followed along what their society taught them. So there's so much stuff like that. We just assume that's the way it is. It isn't. Do you kind of agree with that, or do you?
It sounds like you're being indoctrinated in your prison cell right now. Like,
I'm just saying that
into a new lifestyle.
Seriously though, I think society really it shapes us to the point where it changes who we are. And yes, we are individuals, but that individuality comes out only a little bit. Like yeah, we can be individuals, but I mean, we live in a society where it's a little more open to think differently and stuff like that. But there's still a lot of stuff that we do that's just kind of like we only do it because we've been told it's acceptable.
Yeah, this reminds me of our Vietnam episode about you traveling in Vietnam.
Yeah.
About how you said you see society behaving in different ways, completely different from the society that you grew up in, and you see how that manifests.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I don't necessarily like the idea of what I'm saying. I love the idea of people being purely individual and, free of thought, but I feel like, I think it's more, we should start analyzing why we think the way we do. And then once we understand where we got those influences from, then we can cast it away. You know what I mean? We first have to realize where we got our thoughts from and question it. Question everything, and then figure out why do I believe the way I do, and then that's how we get to truth. We figure out where we got it from, and then once we know, then we can cast it aside. We first got to realize that we're influenced by it in the first place. Anything about what I'm saying, or
I strongly agree.
Right on, bro. Okay, on to the next question here. Here we go. Okay, these days openness about sex has gone too far. I strongly disagree. It's okay to be.
See, I say agree.
It put me as on the left libertarian.
But that gives you an example of other.
Well, here it is, right here.
That's you. Yep.
Is that good or bad?
It's basically where I am.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm on the left, I guess libertarian. I never thought of myself as a libertarian fully, but that's cool.
Well, it's either libertarian or authoritarian. That's the scale.
Yeah.
On the is that the x-axis or the y-axis?
Yeah, it's x-axis. I don't know.
The vertical axis is authoritarian versus libertarian.
Yeah.
So you're down more in the libertarian section. Yeah. So towards freedom as opposed to control. And then the horizontal axis is the left versus the right.
Yeah, so we're pretty far into the left. So that makes sense. Okay, well, that was interesting. So, yeah, I mean, we'll have to stop the recording and we'll have to...
We really got into it on that one, I feel like. That was good. I think that people are going to like this episode, and they should listen to us on Spotify.
Yeah.
And what other platforms?
iTunes eventually. So.
And YouTube, you can see it. You can watch all of this on YouTube. If you're listening to us right now, you can switch over to YouTube and watch us on YouTube.
So with that, I say goodbye and hit the like button, right? And leave us a comment. Bye for now.